Can you give us the playground?
Yeah, you know where to find me. And so do you.
Cyrus bonds with an unexpected classmate as Andy deals with Bowie beginning to date. Let's break down the latest episodes of Andy Mack here on What Happened. How's it going, everyone? Lisa here, and yes, I am finally back with Andy Mack recaps. Thank you all for your patience. I honestly didn't realize how many of you liked my recaps on this show until you started commenting and sending me messages on Facebook and Instagram that you missed them. And I apologize for the delay in these. The site that I usually download these episodes from so that they're in a format that I can put them into these recaps, it didn't have these episodes, and I think that they didn't realize the show had come back from break, but I was finally able to download them, so alas, I am here with your recap. So like I said, I am finally caught up on all the episodes that I haven't recapped, and I'm mainly going to focus on the latest episode, episode 11, Miniature Golf. But before I get to that recap, I'm going to catch up on some main points that happened in the 4 episodes before that. Sorry, Muffy fans, as of right now, it looks like Marty and Buffy are no more, not even really friends. After a fun double date of sorts with Jonah and Andy, Marty finally confessed his feelings to Buffy and how he wanted them to be more than friends.
Already running partners, and bantering partners, and plus ones, and I get you extra napkins. We're halfway there. We're more than halfway.
Buffy, on the other hand, whether she has feelings for Marty or not, which I actually kind of think she does, she just doesn't want to admit it, she chooses to friend zone him, and we haven't seen him in any episodes since. And honestly, I'm still kind of rooting for these two at some point at the end of the season. When it comes to Cece and Pop selling their house, you can breathe a sigh of relief because they aren't. They were trying to sell the house so they could go live out their dreams, like going to Paris and travel the world, but Andy worked her magic to convince Cece to not sell the house if she promised to spend more time there. Pops kind of wasn't too happy because he was ready for them to finally, like I said, get on with their dreams, but a compromise was finally made. Cece and Pops took their house off the market for now so they could come up with an actual plan of what to do next, since Pops wants a boat and Cece doesn't really want to do that. Andy also says she'll still spend more time with Cece, and as a result, we get this hilarious scene. That Mac family sure does actually have some moves. I was impressed with Cece, and I know Peyton Elizabeth Lee, who plays Andy, is an actual dancer, so it was cool to see that shown off here. For Cyrus, we see his love of filmmaking come to the forefront as he writes a horrible screenplay and then tries to turn it into a movie with the help of Bex. Later at the Renaissance Fair, we finally see Iris again, and he doesn't come out to her, but he does tell her that he likes her, just doesn't like her. And Iris, she's actually cool with that, and they plan on staying friends. For Buffy, she's still going head-to-head with that jerk TJ, but now she's been assigned to be his math tutor, and neither of them are happy about this arrangement. Buffy really does, though, seem to be putting in an effort to be the bigger person and to help TJ out, even though he's really being a jerk and resisting all of her help. We also learn why Buffy is so competitive all the time. It's because her mom, if you remember, who was in the military and deployed often, always told her before leaving for deployment to be strong. So that's what Buffy is trying to do, and she equates being strong to physical things like winning at arm wrestling and stuff, instead of being strong when it comes to being emotional. Growing up a military kid, I honestly can relate to, Buffy and this storyline, not so much on the having to win, but other aspects, and I'm hoping that they continue to kind of touch on this. And I'm a sucker for a good military family reunion. They always are one of the things that makes me cry, so maybe by the end of the season, Buffy can kind of get that homecoming surprise with her mom. I have my fingers crossed. When it comes to Jandy, or Jonah and Andy, they've had some major ups and downs over the past 4 episodes, and it seems like things could be on the rocks for them. It starts with Andy laughing at Jonah when he falls off the platform playing a VR game at the arcade, and then he refuses to tell her how he's feeling or why he's upset. They eventually resolve that, and Jonah gets his laugh in when Andy trips in the middle of the school hallway, and they're even. Then Andy sees Jonah hanging out at the Spoon with another girl who it turns out is an ultimate frisbee pal named Natalie. Jonah insists she's just a friend, but that doesn't stop Andy from being jealous, especially after Amber tells Andy that Jonah used to always say Andy was just a friend. Now Andy is wondering even more if she and Jonah are a couple or not, since they've never actually discussed it or put a label on it. Our core 4 make plans to go to a Grease sing-along, but when Jonah gets asked to take part in a frisbee video with Natalie and Furious George, He forgot about the Grease sing-along, and Andy tells him if he wants to do his video, he can. They both decide to do their own thing, but after Amber gives some surprising advice to Jonah, telling him to not blow with Andy because she's better than he deserves, Jonah decides to go to the sing-along, but Andy almost misses the sing-along because she runs to Jonah's video shoot where Natalie tells him he went to the sing-along. Andy makes it back to the bus just in time, and she and Jonah sit in the back together and hold hands. Their faces, though, towards the end of the episode, like the very end of that scene, do not seem like Jonah is really happy about being there, though. Alright, I feel like that pretty much sums up the 4 episodes before the current episode, episode 11, so let's talk about that one. First up, Andy and her meddling ways. Seriously, I like Andy most days, but this season, she's been especially annoying when it comes to meddling and, putting herself in other people's business, that it seems like she's just acting pretty selfish. Granted, she is a 13-year-old kid, but it's starting to get a tad annoying, so hopefully she'll learn from all this meddling if something goes wrong. She's just got to learn that you can't control everything and not everything will go the way you want in life. Anyway, so back to this episode. Mini golf seems to be the family activity that Andy, Bex, and Bowie enjoy together, even though Bex isn't really good at it. As they enjoy some pizza after a game, Bowie gets a call and Andy thinks that the way he answered the phone, he must be talking to a woman, and he doesn't tell them who he was talking to, so Andy asks Bex if Bowie is seeing someone. In an earlier episode, we saw someone Bowie works with ask Bex if Bowie was seeing anyone, so Bex mentions the plant Dr. Miranda. Andy, of course, still has it in her head that Bex and Bowie will be together and they will be a family that lives happily ever after, so she is not too happy to hear that Bex has moved on, and she also thinks that Bex isn't happy to see that Bowie is dating someone else either. Bex tries to tell Andy, though, to respect Bowie's privacy, to which Andy just flat out says no. Andy asks Bowie to hang out the next day and asks if he's seeing anyone, and eventually he does say he's seeing someone named Miranda, but it's all still really new and he doesn't want to introduce the two of them unless it's serious. Andy tries to say that she should meet Miranda before it gets serious, but Bowie says it's ultimately his decision. Andy returns home to tell Bex what she's found out, and Bex reassures Andy that no matter what, they're still Bowie's family and Andy is still his daughter. Nothing could change that. Well, later when Andy and Bex are mini golfing by themselves, they think that maybe they should call Bowie to join them. But then Andy sees that he's already there and he's there with Miranda, and it turns out that Miranda also has a daughter. So Andy says that Bowie didn't want her to meet Miranda. He didn't want her to meet Miranda and her daughter. So now that whole idea of Andy always being his daughter that Bex said earlier probably has Andy thinking it might not be true if Bowie's having so much fun playing mini golf with Miranda's daughter. Maybe she'll, start to think that she's being replaced if Bowie spends more time with that family instead. I don't know, but it's definitely might get messy. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully there's some talk and understanding. When it comes to Buffy, she's still trying her best to tutor TJ with math, but he just isn't getting it, and he keeps coming up with excuses as to why he doesn't know how to do the problems. Buffy's actually being really patient with TJ and a good tutor, but TJ still not having it, and he tells her that he's just stupid and walks out of the session. Meanwhile, Cyrus has been asked by Dr. Metcalf to film some videos for the school website, some kind of how-to videos for new students. He enlists Jonah as his cameraman, and as it turns out, Cyrus is not that great in front of the camera. I mean, he actually is. He has the personality and the enthusiasm, but he just keeps flubbing his lines and getting flustered and sweating buckets, so he goes to take a break at the park. As he's swinging, our two storylines here collide as TJ walks up and TJ remembers Cyrus as a muffin guy. Cyrus then explains that swinging just helps him feel better, so TJ starts swinging too, and it's the first time we've really seen TJ be, well, not a jerk. He and Cyrus actually have a good conversation and actually seem to be bonding and opening up to each other until Buffy walks up and tells TJ that she thinks he has a learning disability when it comes to numbers and that he can still learn, they just need to get him tested and that he's not dumb. TJ gets defensive though and doesn't want her help, saying he'd rather have people think he is stupid than know he has a learning disability. While that's going down, Cyrus returns to his film project with some clarity and he puts Jonah in front of the camera instead to star in the videos, while Cyrus has found his place, his calling behind the camera. Alright, so this episode makes it seem like it could be hinting at something with TJ and Cyrus. TJ's definitely got this tough guy act that does give off the vibe that he is, hiding something or he's insecure. Now, whether what he's hiding or those insecurities deal with his sexuality or something else in his life that's causing him to act that way, there was a connection with Cyrus, which could just be friendly. We're just gonna have to wait and see. It does remind me of how Amber at the beginning of the show put on her mean girl act, but it was to kind of hide all her family trouble at home and her insecurities as well. TJ is now kind of that new Amber, so I'm interested to see how the friendship between TJ and Cyrus progresses. Whether they turn that into something else, like more of a crush, I have no idea, but I would really like to see them as friends. And I do also have to give props to Buffy for truly wanting to help TJ. Like, he's her enemy, but she's being patient with him and trying to actually look out for him and help him. Things might take a turn, though, for the worse when it comes to the next episode.
Next on Andy Mack.
Picking the right look can make or break a bar mitzvah.
Happy to help. I need to talk to you about my math thing.
I'm happy you want to deal with this.
But in the meantime, I need someone to do my math homework.
Me? Remember your promise to pass me the ball?
Yeah?
Time out! You just say what you need to say to get what you want, but you don't mean any of it.
I kind of think I'm not really a bracelet guy.
You asked me to make it for you.
Now when I wear this, it feels like a girlfriendy, boyfriendy thing.
And that's bad because...
Who knew that Disney shows could have so much drama, right? Now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that Jonah and Andy are on the rocks and will maybe just decide to be friends? From the promo for the next episode, it seems like Jonah isn't into labels, so how is Andy going to react? Also, what do you think will happen with TJ and Cyrus? Do you think it will just develop as a friendship or crush? Also, what do you think is going to happen when it comes to Bowie dating another woman with a child? Sound off down in the comments below, and after that, click right over here to see what Disney Channel show turns 10 years old this year, and be sure to subscribe if you like what you see. I'm Lisa, thanks for hanging out with me and being patient. I'll see you later.